We are back live. It's your Bolo Punch Boxing Hour brought to you by George Rogie Insurance. www.bolopunchboxinghour.com. Streaming to you live as always on Ustream.tv. No, I've never chewed on a pine tree, but damn, that is what that would taste like. I am not saying anything negative against Three Floyds Brewery. I love Three Floyds. I'm actually planning on hanging out at the Dark Lord Festival coming up very soon. Standing out in the rain and the cold and the nastiness to get my hands on some Dark Lord Russian Imperial Stout. But this particular Brian Boru, this is their Old Irish Red Ale, which I'm holding up right now, which I'm sure is a very quality beer for you hopheads out there, of which I am not. So yes, it tasted a bit like chewing on
when
a
you
pine
do
tree.
raise it up to your mouth, it does kind of smell like one of those little Christmas tree ornaments that you hang in your car.
All right, air freshener.
Guess who's not going to be?
At Three Floyds with you?
Well, guess who's not going to be a sponsor for the show anytime soon?
It does. I mean, it tastes all right to me, but I could smell it when you come up to your mouth.
Very much so. Let's get to the man of the hour right now, at least the man of the next 9.5 minutes. Pete the Heat Perry right now. Pete, what is going on with you, man? I haven't talked to you in a while.
Hey, how you doing, Chris?
Oh.
I want to give a holler out to all the guys there at the Bowl Punch Boxing Hour. It's great talking to you guys again.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we always have a good time. We always have a good time talking with Pete the Heat Perry. How's your family? Everyone doing well?
Yeah, everyone's doing well. We've got a couple of family issues with my mother-in-law. She's quite ill right now and having to go into a nursing home. But we're working through that. These things happen,
As they do. Well, our prayers go out to you. I'm sorry about that. All right, what's on our plate tonight, man? You have the floor.
Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about Danny Little Red Lopez and how I feel that basically it's a travesty that the man has not yet been inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in Canastota, a place we're all really familiar with. I just think that the man's accomplishments in the ring and outside of it really as well just warrant him being inducted. I mean, here's a guy as the featherweight champion who probably brought more TV attention, more general attention, and media attention to the featherweight division than perhaps any champion before or since. The guy had a tremendously respectable record, 42 wins, 6 losses, 39 knockouts to build an incredible 81.25% KO percentage.
That's ridiculous, dude.
That's just an incredible number,
Well, I mean, some of the names on his W column, you've got Sean O'Grady, Ruben Olivares, and Chucho Castillo. I mean, you can't go out and buy names like that, man. You have to get in the ring and beat these men. And people weren't beating these men very often. Well, Sean O'Grady was undefeated when he fought Little Red.
Ruben Olivares is a Hall of Famer himself, is he not?
Of course he is.
Okay.
Every year he's there.
Yes, I mean, in Little Red's career, he fought 6 former, current, or future champions. And he held the heavyweight. I'm sorry, the featherweight championship.
He might have held the belt, but he was not the champion.
1976 until February 1980, and of his 6 losses, even to kind of put a reflection on those a little bit, a little attention on those. Of those 6 losses, 2 were to Salvador Sanchez. I mean, there's certainly no shame in that at all. And a third was to the legendary Bobby Chacon. I mean, both of those guys are in the Hall of Fame themselves. So, there's nothing, no shame in that. And but as I say, the man also, he just brought so much attention to the featherweight division. He was such a popular champion. And like you said, Chris, you can't buy names like the ones that were on his record in the W column.
Oh, of course not. No. I mean, let's talk about what does he bring to the table as a Hall of Famer outside of just his wins column and his losses column, because again, like you said, Salvador Sanchez, no one lost to that man. So losing to him, that alone is just saying you fought him twice.
And I mean, it was also late in his career.
It was. He only fought one. I mean, he retired after the Salvador Sanchez after the second fight.
Yes, he did. He retired after the second fight, and then some 11 years, 8 months later, he made a very unwise attempt at a comeback. I think that was kind of sparked by watching George Foreman and the success that he was having. And so he tried to come back and, he was stopped by a guy that had, like 24 losses on his record or something like that. Many more losses than wins. And that convinced Danny, that obviously it wasn't in the cards, and so he retired for good at that point.
Well, one game that people...
There's a loss, obviously, that shouldn't even count on the record, but, it was an official fight. So, that's one of his 6 losses as well, so you do have to take that into account as well. But outside of the ring, I think the best thing that speaks for Danny is the very, very, very many halls of fame that he's already been inducted into. Like, for example, he's a member of the World Boxing Hall of Fame. He was inducted in 2005 to the California Boxing Hall of Fame. And last year, in 2008, he was inducted to the WBC Legends of Boxing Museum with Lennox Lewis, Ken Norton, and Diego Corrales all in the same year. That's quite a group to go in with. That shows some respect right there, And but outside of that, even beyond that, beyond the other halls of fame and museums and so forth, the other thing is just to look at Danny in the times that I know you have met him, Chris, there at the International Boxing Hall of Fame in Canastota, and look at the way the man gives back to his fans. To me, that says a lot about the kind of a champion, the kind of a man that he is. And I think that makes a great argument in itself for why he should be, in that Hall of Fame, why there should be a plaque on the wall with his name on it, rather than him being, always the bridesmaid, never the bride, so to speak.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head right there. One game we always play at Bola Punch is, how is this guy not in the Hall of Fame when there are other people that are in the Hall of Fame? And I don't want to take anyone that's in the Hall out. But there are names we can bring up, Pete, and I know you know who I'm talking about, that if this guy's in and this guy's in, how could Little Red Lopez not be?
Exactly. I could name names. I don't want to do that. I don't want to disrespect someone who is already in the Hall.
True.
They earned it. If they're there, then they earned it. I'm not going to argue, with those who are already in.
Not on the air,
But I agree with you. I agree that I believe personally, as a fan, as a boxing fan, that there are several men in that hall who have plaques on the wall who are not nearly as deserving as Danny Little Red Lopez.
So did he upset the Brophies? What's the story?
Well, that was my question. What did he?
The uncertain part. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't believe he upset the Brophies at all. He seems to be very, very friendly with the Brophies. I read an article myself that said that he actually spoke with Ed Brophy during one of his appearances there, and just asked him if he could help him out to get in there. So Danny feels it himself. Obviously, he would obviously love to be inducted. I'm sure he probably feels that he deserves it as well. But I can't explain it. I actually conversed by email with a gentleman who is one of the voters on the Hall of Fame ballot, and basically what he told me was, when I asked him that very question about why Danny's not in there, is that they're restricted to voting for who's on the ballot. Sure. And they can't write in the candidate, so to speak, like we can for, say, the presidential election. So they're restricted to that. So he has not been on the ballot, and that's the part I cannot explain. I have no idea why that is, but he deserves it. It's way overdue.
Well, Pete the Heat Perry, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your evening to talk with us, and we're going to give you a chance to get a plug there for the website that you are a feature writer for.
Yes, that's Ringside Report, www.ringsidereport.com, and check it out. There's a lot of great writers on there. There's a lot of great articles, and everybody there just they do a heck of a job. I want to give a shout out to Gino McGee and Bad Brad Berkwit. And I also want to give a quick shout out to my friends Judy and Little Holmes listening tonight too.
Awesome.
Okay, so I thank you guys. I thank you guys for giving me this time to come on.
Not to worry. We will